Before we go further into this presentation, let me introduce our team, which consists of 4 members. Muhammad Aiman bin Khairul Saleh, Aini Shafira binti Zanurin, Nurin Shasha binti Badrul Aisham, and myself, Putri Hanisha Zana binti Jasni. We will present our findings on this topic based on our chosen company, which is Samdabi. I would like to give a brief breakdown of our presentation. This presentation is structured as follows. To begin with, we would like to give you an overview of the chosen company, which is Samdabi. Next, we're going to be covering the decision-making process. Then we will discuss on practicing global crisis management. Towards the end of the presentation, we would like to summarize this topic. So without any further delay, I shall get into the introduction. Now, let me briefly share Sam Dabi's background. In 1910, European businessman William Simon Henry Darby established Sam Darby & Co. as a small British company managing 500 acres of rubber estates in Malacca. From such humble beginnings, Sam Darby has grown into one of the biggest multinational corporations in Malaysia. Today, Sam Darby is a key player in the Malaysian economy as well as a diversified multinational involved in key growth sectors, namely plantation, healthcare, property, motors, industrial equipment, and energy and utilities, with operations in more than 20 countries. With a workforce of over 100,000 employees, Sam Darby is committed to building a sustainable future for all its stakeholders. It is one of the largest companies on Bursa Malaysia. Sam Darby also spent much effort in their customers' healthcare. The clinical research and innovative practices combined with their commitment to collaboration for medical advancement for consistently improving their healthcare services. For example, Sam Darby Medical Centre Subang Jaya, Sam Darby's Medical Centre Arya Damansara. Aside from that, Sam Darby also is a major player in the automotive industry in Asia Pacific, representing luxury brands such as BMW, Jaguar, and Land Rover. Sam Darby is actively involved in all aspects of the automotive business, from importation, assembly, distribution, and the retail of vehicles. They also provided a safety driving program in which Ford holds driving skills for live workshops in Sabah and aim to raise awareness on road safety. Although Sam Darby has grown into one of the biggest multinational corporations in Malaysia, they not only just focus on the business but also concerns about the sustainability of their company. Since the outbreak of COVID-19, Sam Darby faced some challenges at the beginning of the crisis, including a 200 worker shortage, impacting quality of fruit products and requiring new training and upskilling for general workers. However, Sam Darby has always one step ahead and aware from the beginning that they would encounter this kind of challenges. As a result, they utilize a number of managerial techniques to both conquer them and preserve the company's economy, which will be discussed in the next slide.
Assalamualaikum. I will be representing the decision-making process part. So the concept of decision-making is crucial to ensure the organization is formed uniformly. So the recent pandemic COVID-19 circumstances forced the organization to make instant spontaneous decision that will benefit the company. So this is why Sam Darby imposed the 6-step decision-making process that includes the first 6 steps of decision-making, which is they need to identify and recognize the major problem. So the next decision-making is specifying the criteria. So after they identify the problem, they would come with the alternatives. What are the Sam Darby's alternatives that they chose? So they choose to specify the alternatives, which comes in as passive and also active approach. So a passive approach is to continue the business by ignoring all the consequences and risk despite of COVID-19 pandemic. The other alternative is the active approach, which is they have to adhere the SOPs from the government. The third decision making is to list out all the pros and cons from the alternative that we're choosing before, which is the pros and cons from the passive or active method. Okay, the next 6-step decision is to determine the risk and the consequences that they may have faced if they choose the alternatives. So the consequences that they might be faced for the passive approach, that they would have been charged for breaching the SOPs if they keep on to continue the business as usual. But if they continue to apply the active approach, they would have to cut all the production, and they could possibly ensure that their own policies are also practical by allowing the workers to continue working from home. After they had determined all the risks and the consequences of the options, so here comes the next step, which is to select which of the option is the most suitable. So choosing the options would be the positive outcome, 100% positive outcomes with zero repercussions for the company. Finally, after all the 5 steps have been taken, the last part would be implementing the chosen alternatives. So they have chosen the active approach, and they impose the COVID-19 preventive measures and self-declaration for visitors. So these guidelines ensure that visitors must adhere the SOPs created by the government for the MCO. So, in a nutshell, Samdabi had to endure, not only Samdabi, but almost most of the company in Malaysia has to endure a tough decision making in order to survive in the pandemic COVID-19.
Practicing global crisis management, global crisis can be resulted by 2 causes. First is natural cause, second is human cause. The example of natural cause are hurricanes, wildfires, earthquakes, and famines that has hurt many countries. Example of human cause are due by industrial pollution, the neglecting of employee safety, and the destruction of natural habitat, and geopolitical tensions like war. Global crises pose challenge for managers and organizations. These crises caused are by natural and human. Natural cause includes famines, wildfires, and earthquakes. Human-created crises results from factors like pollution, negligence of employee safety, and geopolitical tension, such as trade war that has been ongoing between United States of America and China. Global warming also help worsen the effect of natural disasters. This geopolitical tension, such as the trade war that happened between the United States of America and China, has shifted and disrupted the global balance of powers. Top managers play an important role to respond to this global crisis here. This global crisis affect the organization, and managers plan for short-term and long-term. So managers have to evaluate back the plan to adapt to the crisis ongoing. Thus, crisis management involves decision-making, team formation, communication, and conflict management. Effective response depends on decision made by managers. The COVID-19 pandemic has unleashed a global health crisis with significant economic implications. Thus, it's crucial for businesses to navigate the challenge of uncertainty and volatility through crisis management. Sime Darby is one of the multinational companies that face unprecedented disruption due to the pandemic. It has profound effect on Sime Darby industries, requiring swift adaptation and resilience. The challenge includes health of safety of its employees, supply chain disruption and management. However, the company has remained committed to weathering the storm through resilience and innovation. Effective crisis management is the key to sustainability and stability in an ever-changing environment. Therefore, SIMDABI has set an example of perseverance and excellence for organizations in Malaysia. Ramsay SIMDABI Healthcare has prioritized occupational ethics and standard of operating procedure during the pandemic. An example of this is immediate action was taken when COVID-19 cases were identified in the emergency department. Thorough cleaning and disinfection were conducted, leading to a temporary hospital closure. These commitments ensure employee safety and quality patient healthcare. The adherence to societal and occupational ethics control the spread of COVID-19 through Ramsay SIMDABI Healthcare. Thus, Ramsay SIMDABI Healthcare has maintained a responsible and effective ethical policy to healthcare.
So now we talk about Yayasan SIMDABI. So Yayasan SIMDABI donated 1.37 million to 11 aid initiative in Sabah. They are working hand with GLC, GLIC and esteemed organization like Mercy Malaysia and MISA. They have been able to maximize their impact and reach the community that need it the most. Right, so second, his collaborative effort showcases Yayasan SIMDABI unwavering commitment to positive social impact. And thirdly, social responsibility goes beyond financial contribution, so it gets positive reputation for company, attracting stakeholders including potential stakeholder. Yayasan SIMDABI commitment to social impact not only benefit the community, but they serve their standing in the business world. And next, companies also take responsibility for their employees, and society often benefit from the government support. And one of the Yayasan SIMDABI impactful initiative provide PPE, personal protection equipment item, and support to frontline worker and enforcement officer. So the contribution made by Yayasan SIMDABI and often other entities under the SIMDABI have not only enhanced their reputation but also benefit community in a countless way. And this one also is take additional measure to promote hygiene and also safety in the workplace. Hand sanitizer and face mask is become the priority in the workplace. This is to making it easier for the employees to practice good hand hygiene and also wear a mask for them to protect themselves. So in summary, I can say that SIMDABI Plantation prioritizes the well-being and also the safety of its employees during the pandemic especially. So by enforcing COVID-19 provision SOP and also providing education on the virus prevention. And also conducting the daily temperature test for all the employees. So now I want to talk about how SIMDABI Plantation is putting the well-being and safety of its employees first during this challenging time. So SIMDABI Plantation SDP is a prioritized employee well-being and safety during the pandemic. So manager ensure adherence to COVID-19 prevention SOP. Education play a crucial role in preventing the spread. And SDP provide training and also how to prevent the COVID-19 to all the employees. They want to make sure that everyone know the best practice and staying safe and also healthy. And they also required daily temperature check for all individual before entering the workplace. So this help to identify anyone who has a high temperature and might showing the symptom of the virus. Alright, and this one also is. So what I can conclude is SIMDABI demonstrate effective management practice during the COVID-19 crisis. Their commitment to stability and goals ensure economic viability in challenging times. Their collaboration with organizations benefit both sides, SIMDABI and the public. Their comprehensive approach prioritizes the welfare of the broader population. Their well-organized management practice position in the long-term success. ethical and responsible management practice enhance their reputation and social responsibility. I can say that Samdrabi serves as an exemplary model of effective management principle in response to the COVID-19.